What's up? It's your boy Vibes Rob Ray because I'm always bringing you the good vibes, and you're tuned in to in 5678 the podcast, where we discuss everything dance industry related beyond the steps.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. 6, 7, 8. 7, 8.
You're tuned into in 5678 the podcast with Vibes by Ray, only on YouTube, broadcasted by Riverside.fm.
On today's episode, I'm joined by the one and only dancer, model, and actress, Chartaja Collum. Y'all give it up for Chartaja.
Hi.
All right, well, as always, I'd like to start with thanking my guests for taking the time to join me today.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Can you go ahead and give everyone a brief introduction of who Chartaja is?
Chartaja is this young, becoming woman that has been dancing for about 10 years now and is still finding her way, navigating her way through the industry. Really, when I'm Chartaja, I'm just this chill, relaxed girl. But when I'm on the dance floor, it's Char, and that's where you see like the fireworks and the dramatics, and that's when the acting comes in, and I just be going for it. So, yeah, that's Chartaja / Char.
So when you perform, you kind of tap into that alter ego of being Char.
Bad, real bad.
Real bad.
When I tell you, people be like, "You're just so quiet and reserved," which I'm just so quiet and reserved, and you wouldn't expect me to go on a dance floor and to give what I give, but that's just kind of like my alter ego, like Beyonce, you know?
Yes, exactly.
Beyonce, yeah.
So it's funny that you mentioned that. I know your personality a little bit. So we actually have the pleasure of working together.
Yes.
And I already followed you on social media, but it's like I never met you in person prior to us working together. So when we met and I'm actually getting to experience you in person, I'm like, this is a whole different person. Like a whole different person. And I had no idea that you were who you are. So it was just like amazing seeing that switch because when you are on the stage, when you're performing, like you said, you are Char, that's like a whole different entity. And it's just amazing to watch you tap into that character.
Yeah, that is crazy. We did work together 9 to 5.
Right.
Trying to get that money, trying to pay for
Exactly.
bills.
And still out here pursuing dance at the same
And
time.
still out here pursuing our dreams, yeah.
And you're originally from Houston, Texas, right?
Yes, Houston, Texas. That's where I was raised and where I started dance. I got my fundamentals from there, all my foundations. My mentors are all from there, and yeah.
How old were you when you started dancing?
I was okay. So in my eyes, I want to say that I was a little bit older because when I did get into dancing, the girls there were already trained. They were amazing. They were trained in different styles, technique on 1,000. It was just insane. So I thought I started late, which was at like 12 years old.
Okay.
Now that I talk about it, people was like, "No, you started pretty young. Like you was fairly on the young side when you started." So it's up in the air, but yeah, I was 12. I was in the what grade? I was in the 4th grade when my teacher actually asked me to do the Cinco de Mayo, and she was like, "Well, you're so quiet, you're new, just to like engage in an activity during like an after school program. Why don't you come and do the Cinco de Mayo for us?" So I agreed. I went to after school, and they taught us choreography. And the way that I picked on it so quickly, she was amazed. She thought I was a dancer already. And I told her actually before this, I was so scared to dance. I hated like let me not say dance. Yeah, don't say that. I was nervous to dance. I didn't like performing in front of people. I didn't like doing anything revolving around moving my body. So going to the rehearsals and immediately picking it up and performing it, she was amazed. I was amazed. The day of performance, my mom was watching and she was amazed. She was like, "Are you a dancer or are you a singer?" Because I used to sing my entire life. I wanted to be the Aaliyah. Yeah. But that's just the beginning, the startup of that. Yeah, I actually never pictured myself being a dancer, but there's always a way. one path is never going to be the final destination. So yeah, my life just took a turn for the better.
Exactly. Now, would you say that that sparked your interest in wanting to pursue it more, or were you still kind of like on the fence about it?
I was on the fence about it, honestly, because again, it was brand new to me. I had no clue about it in my entire life. From newborn to 12, I was terrified to dance in front of anybody. But luckily, my intermediate school had a dance program. So
Mhm.
my mom signed me up for the dance program. She was like, just do it for a year, for a semester, and see how you do. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. My first mentor, Miss Harper, shout out to her. She taught me lyrical, African, and ballet. That's where I started off with. I didn't really start off in hip hop until later on. But yeah, yeah.
Okay. And when did you transition from Houston to Atlanta?
I transitioned 2017. I went to ATLA probably 2 years in a row for Kiki and Sakina intensive. And when I tell you, Atlanta just had a whole different energy.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
They have it's just crazy out there. And I love Houston down. That's where I started. But Atlanta just have this pocket that I could not catch up on at first. So it was a challenge for me. And my mom, she just thought, why stay in Houston where I'm doing competition dancing and it's not really pushing me to the next level to where I can be in Atlanta and I could be booking jobs because that's what I was doing when I was visiting Atlanta, booking jobs or training with ATL and the OGs and stuff like that. So yeah, my whole family up and just moved to Atlanta.
That's what I was going to ask you next. Was it a move on your own, or was it like a family thing?
Yeah, my mom, dad, three brothers, a cat. Yeah, we all we all threw our clothes and luggages into the car and we drove to Atlanta.
Now, was that move? I don't want to say specifically for you, but was that like a driving motivation force for your family? Like, hey, we see that Shar is interested in this, so we need to get her to where she would probably thrive more, or was it kind of like a personal decision for the family?
It was a little bit of both. Like I said,
Mhm.
it wasn't the 100% like, okay, well, Chartaja wants to pursue dance, so let's just up and move the family for that.
Mhm.
Houston will always be our home, but we move around a lot, honestly. So we felt like we outgrew Houston,
Got it.
and our lease was up anyway. So my mom was like, "Look, we just gonna move to Atlanta, city full of melanated people that's successful, and Strategia gets to pursue her dreams on top of that. So it was a great move for the entire family.
Great. That's awesome to hear. Now, it seems like you had a lot of support from your parents. How would you describe that support system?
Um, Specifically from my mom and my grandma starting out, they were my everything, my day ones. My dad didn't really come around until later on in my career, which is probably like now. He didn't really, because they're older,
Mhm.
so
Right.
that the mindset of, oh, you could pursue dance kind of iffy. But my mom knew that I would do something with dance. My grandma, she always financially and emotionally supported me as well. Um, so yeah, they gave it their all. My mom, she would make sure that I was in California when I needed to be in California. When I was staying in Houston, she would make sure that I had a way to Atlanta.
Mhm.
When I was in Atlanta, she made sure that I was going to New York or Florida or California auditions. She always been my backbone and just pushed me to be greater.
And that's always something good to have. Would you
Always,
say, yeah,
always, yeah.
would you say that their support kind of drove you to excel a little harder or to push a little harder for the career?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because I want to make them happy, and I want to
Mhm.
let them know that the hard work and the sacrifices that they made wasn't for nothing. So I want to get to a point where like my mom and my grandma are taken care of. Unfortunately, my grandmother isn't as able to enjoy the outcome,
Mhm.
which is sad on my part, but that's life. But my mom, she gets to witness all the glory, and I'm just happy for that. Like that, just seeing her eyes relax and be like, okay, like this is the vision that I had. She's executed
Exactly.
it, and I love that. for my daughter. Yeah.
Yes, I love that. And as I was stating, it's important to have that backbone and that support
Mm.
because it can get lonely in the industry. It can get hard in the industry, and sometimes we like to, well, not like to, but sometimes we talk ourselves down from pursuing the things that we want to do within the industry. And when we just have that person that's pushing us a little bit harder, it just makes the journey a little easier and worthwhile.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, you went from Houston to Atlanta. You've been in Atlanta for a little while.
Mm.
I'm sure that making that move opened up a lot of more
Yeah.
opportunities and networks for you. So, can you tell us a little bit about some of the experiences that you've had while being in Atlanta?
Um, well, first of all, the training is and was top tier. Couldn't get it anywhere else. I remember a lot of people were trying to move to Atlanta around that time just for the training.
Hmm.
Um, also, I Atlanta is on the up and the what do you call it, like the up and rise of television and commercials.
Hmm.
So I definitely got into acting when I moved to Atlanta. A
Okay.
lot more modeling. I did my first commercial for Cartoon Network. Um, I did print work. I did dance jobs as well. I want to say maybe 2 years into living in Atlanta. I booked three major jobs back to back. The first one was Lil Nas X, but that was in California. But that was because of my Atlanta training that they loved out here in California.
Hmm.
The second one was Missy Elliott with Sean Bankhead, which is crazy for me because I was just about to turn 18 at that point. And then the third one was the Super Bowl, which I just turned 18. Hill was like, "You look very young," because I'm very youthful, but you're such a great dancer. So
Hmm.
yeah, come and do the Super Bowl with us for Shakira. Um, yeah, Atlanta just opened up a lot of doors in routes for me to do bigger and better things rather than being complacent in Houston, which I adore that and I love that. Houston will always be home though. Yeah. And then I
How
get
was?
to meet amazing people like you
Oh,
and
thank you.
other people in Atlanta who are I absolutely adore. And first of all, Atlanta, Houston, and dancers, kudos to y'all because absolutely amazing. Tours, traveling overseas teaching. I'm proud of every single one of y'all. So,
Absolutely. Thank you for that.
mhm.
Now, how was that experience with the Super Bowl? That was your first Super Bowl,
Mhm.
huge gig. How was that experience for you?
It wasn't real until I got there, honestly. Like I didn't
Mhm.
believe it. I did not believe it. I got there January. The job was for like a month and a half. And I just couldn't believe it. Like my young, freshly 18-year-old self is in Florida, Miami, Florida for weeks with
Mhm.
my mom because my mom would never leave my side.
I
She was
absolutely love
always
that.
right there. And we was trying to figure out because I do have a big family, so money isn't always plentiful. So we were just trying to figure it out, whatever. And I just couldn't believe it. Like Super Bowl, what? Um, until the day of, we got into the stadium and we was doing dress rehearsal, tech rehearsal, and everything like that. And when I tell you, like, we all started crying, the whole cast crying, bawling. It felt once in a lifetime type of opportunity, type of thing. Uh, I I don't think I've ever felt a moment that proud
Mhm.
since then. Which I'm proud of everything that I've done, but that just being so young and experiencing it, it was top tier. Also, I don't really get stage fright because, like, again, when Shark comes out, Shark comes out.
Right.
But the way I got onto that stage, and we was waiting for the music, the cue to start so we can perform, thousands of people. And then, mind you, it's the Super Bowl. So then millions of people are watching at home. It was crazy.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm sure that's
I,
a whole different kind of feeling.
I was shaking. I was so nervous. And I never really get nervous on stage. But that, I was terrified.
Now, you are currently working with Ice Spice.
Hmm.
So, can you tell us a little bit about that? How did you get into that gig, and what is that like for you?
Well, one random day in, what was that? March, I got an email from my agency, which is Block, and they were saying like Keenan Cooks is the choreographer. They're casting for Ice Spice Coachella. I had to submit a self tape, just basically freestyle to "Think You the Shit." Oh, can I post? Think
Yeah.
You the Shit. But I didn't know. And yeah, just do like a 30-second freestyle.
Hmm.
I did it. I think I just got out of rehearsal for something else, and I was like, "Hey, well, this is easy, and I like the song. The song's a vibe." So I was like, "Okay, let me just go outside and throw some ass and dance to Think of Shit." So I went out, I did it, and I was pretty pleased with my self tapes. I was like, "Okay, okay." Like I don't know what exactly they're looking for because in the email I didn't have a specific type. So I didn't really put too much thought into it
Hmm.
until the end of what was that, March. I got the email confirming that Keenan wants to meet me, and I was so excited because first of all, my first Coachella, and then Ice Spice is amazing as well. So I was
Hmm.
like, okay, 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 like we're getting into it. Also, I took Keenan. I met Keenan probably 3 or 4 years ago prior. I used to go to New York every year for my birthday, which is around Thanksgiving.
Hmm.
And one of the years, I asked a friend like recommendations of who classes I should take. And Keenan was one of those names. I looked up his Instagram and I was like, oh, his choreo is
Yeah,
fire.
it's
So I was,
amazing.
yeah. So I was like, okay, let me go and take his class. I took his class and I absolutely loved it. First of all, New York style is different from Atlanta and Houston. So
Hmm.
yeah, A1. Um, so yeah, I already took or trained a little bit with Keenan. Um, but I was like, I never worked with him. I actually got another email for Coachella to do Coil Ray with a choreographer that I already know and I've worked with a bunch of California. So I was like, okay, so what's the decision? Should I do Ice Life? Should I do Koi? Um, at first I was leaning more towards Koi because I was like, well, Ice Spice, she's curvier, a lot of throwing ass, stuff like that.
Hmm.
So I was like, well, maybe with Koi, since she's more petite, and then I know the choreographer, things like that, I should just stick with her. But the the Koi stuff didn't end up working out. And they was just like, no, just do Ice Spice. And I was completely fine with doing Ice Spice
Yeah.
and did it. Coachella was absolutely amazing. I think Keenan just posted on his story like Coachella was the best performance this
Hmm.
year, like of a lifetime. I absolutely agree. The staging, the production, the cast, the choreography, everything was top tier for Ice Spice. So that was the beginning of the journey with her. And then oh, and then at Coachella, I told Keenan, I was like, I've never been on tour, and that's probably the one thing that I haven't done in my entire career. And he was like, oh, okay, okay, like, would you love like I might be having some tours, and I was like, yeah, I would love to go on tour with you. Keenan's a pleasure to work with. His
Hmm.
assistant was at the time as well, and then the cast I loved in Ice Spice. I was like, why not?
Right.
Just to find out a couple months later, I get the email asking to go to Europe with Ice Spice. And I was like, okay, we talked into existence.
Yes.
We did that. We did that. So yeah.
Yes, and that's the career. That's what it's about. It's about speaking things into existence and being intentional about what you ask for,
It
because
is.
you never know what can come from just having a simple conversation. Hey, I've never been on tour. Now look at you traveling the world. You know?
Yeah, like me and Keenan bring that up all the time. He was like, remember when you said, and I was like, yeah, I do. And now look
Yep.
at us. We're in Europe right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What would you say was your biggest challenge from being a part of that tour?
Um, I would have to say stamina for sure. I have done long performances before, but her choreography and her songs are a little bit different. It's very like bouncy, and you have to just be energetic the entire time. And the set is probably like an hour 10 or something like that. So you just got to make sure that I stay consistent and stay knows my ups and downs throughout the performance. But we didn't really have challenges, or at least I didn't really have challenges for her tour performing wise.
That's cool. And I love that you say, you know, you had a relationship with the other dancers, because
Hmm.
that environment like to be around an environment where you're actually enjoying the choreography, enjoying who you're working with. That
Yeah.
makes a difference about the job as well.
It makes a huge difference, honestly. Like being able to go on stage, and you'll see it honestly if you watch a clip. All of us just interacting with each other, or we're throwing it back on the guys,
And
or
having
or
fun.
somebody doing a flip. Oh, okay, we're gonna do a flip or something like that. Like it's always good to have that friendly competition, but also like have fun on stage at the same time.
Absolutely. So we're for our next segment, we're gonna play a little game. It's called This or That. So what I've done is created couples of iconic dance performances, whether new or old, and you will get to choose which one you prefer over the other.
Okay, I'm ready.
Now I'll leave it up to you. You can explain your decision, or you can not explain. I'll leave that decision totally up to you. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. First one, Lil Nas X J Christ or Lil Nas X Industry Baby.
Industry baby.
Okay. High School Musical, All in This Together, or Cheetah Girls, or Cheetah Girls, The Party's Just Begun.
Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. I am a High School Musical fan, like fanatic.
Same.
But I do love the Cheetah Girls. But I think I would have to go with High School Musical only because I love them so much.
Okay, got you,
That's my
got you.
my entire childhood.
All right. The next one, Tate McRae, It's Okay, I'm Okay, versus Dua Lipa, Houdini.
Tate McRae. I'm okay.
Okay. Janet Jackson, All Night, Don't Stop, or Madonna's Vogue.
Ooh, Janet Jackson. I love
Yep.
it.
Last one, Cardi B, Up, or Megan Thee Stallion, Body.
Cardi B up.
Okay, okay. Alrighty, so before we move on, I do want to take a moment to shout out my sponsor. On each and every episode, it is sponsored by Cataco Streetwear for Dancers. Today's outfit of the day is going to be the 5678 shorts, and these are cheetah print. Cataco Streetwear is affordable and comfortable streetwear for dancers, but here's a word from our sponsors for more information.
And 5678 podcast is sponsored by Chelsea Elise Dance Apparel. Use promo code BRAVEN for 10% off all orders over $25. Follow Cataco at Cata_Co on Instagram.
Make sure to use my discount code BRAVEN to get 10% off of your order of $25 or more online only. Now it's time for our segment of the day. This is where the curtains close and the spotlights turn off. Let's get to the point.
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 Alrighty, so today, Char, I want to talk to you about growing up hip hop. So I know you have training in other aspects, but specifically today, I want to talk about growing up as a young dancer and the experiences that you've had as a young dancer. Okay? So how did you balance your training with the typical experiences of childhood?
I would like to say that I didn't really have a childhood. Especially my teenage years. It was strictly going to dance rehearsals from morning to midnight and going home, sleep, and then repeat. Which, if I could redo it, I would. I don't suggest it for those out there. But yeah, that was my childhood.
So would you say that it impacted like friendships, school, your everyday life?
Yeah, I didn't really have much of a solid friendships at school because my main focus was to go to dance afterwards. So most of my friendships were dancers. I do know, and I still talk to people that I went to school with, but it's not very many.
Yeah. What kind of other sacrifices would you say that you had to make as far as like your childhood is concerned?
Yeah, I would say that my grades definitely took a turn. Again, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't.
Hmm.
School comes first. But in my eyes, back then, school came last. Yeah, I used to be a honor roll student, straight A's, some B's every here and there, and it definitely switched up once I started involving more in traveling and being. So I was just advised to keep a healthy balance between school and your dreams and career.
Now, how would you say that you cope with the pressure of having to succeed at such a young age?
Hoping I was just pushed through it.
Hmm.
I have a very strong mother who always figured it out. So I was just always trying to figure it out. I wouldn't take time to uh, sit in it or think too much about it. It was just okay. Just gotta go and keep going. If it was a yes, it was a yes. If it was a no for audition, it was a no. I just gotta figure out what's the next step to make it to where I want to be.
Absolutely. Now, I would say, like, it kind of, I didn't start at a young age, but just hearing your story, it kind of seems like it built a different kind of mentality and made you like mentally strong, like pretty quick. Would you agree with that?
Oh, for sure, for sure. Especially as a African American woman in the dance community, you
Hmm.
have to have a strong mentality, or it just will not work. Unfortunately, to be blunt, there's no time to really just sit in the problems or the issues. You have to just figure it out and move accordingly. But
Hmm.
always keep your boundaries. Always keep your worth. Always know your worth. I will never back down from that. But I will say, at my age of 22, um, from a typical like woman versus a 22-year-old African American dancer, yes, you our mentalities are just a little bit. We just have to be on the roll on the ball.
What would you say are some of the biggest challenges that you faced as a young dancer?
Um, Separating life and my career, which, like we talked about earlier, I've been dealing with since childhood.
Hmm.
But it is very difficult to keep the two apart. I had to deal with, friends in that whole community, the drama, the backstabbing, things like that.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, at a very young age. So now I just know better, and I'm just taking those bits and pieces and applying it to my everyday life, and just keeping my dancer friends, and then my outside friends.
With dance being such an emotional art form, starting at a young age, how would you say you connected emotionally?
Well, having, like I mentioned earlier, a very strong mother, and then a
Hmm.
father who wasn't present or involved with my career, the only way I was able to express myself was through dance. So that was my outlet. All my emotions would go straight to that. My mom would even say, like, she was surprised. I, Finding me crying was not going to happen unless I'm getting
Hmm.
whooping, unless I'm getting my butt beat.
Right.
Then that's when you see the tears. But other than that, you'll never see me cry about like being stressed out or
Hmm.
something happened and now I'm breaking down. Very rare. So yeah, dance was that outlet for me. All my emotions went towards that.
Absolutely. And that's what it's about. Like I said, dance is an emotional art form. And I love when I can see a performance or see a dancer in their most purest and rawest form and they're telling a story. Because that's what I want to see. That's what makes me enjoy the art form even more because you can tell so much with your body. And dancers are not just artists, but we also storytellers
Yes.
and we're also actors because when you hit that stage, we don't need to see Chartaja, we need to see Char.
Char. Hmm.
Yeah, so definitely.
I like that.
Thank you, thank you. Now, who are some of your early influences and what are some of the most valuable lessons that you may have taken from them to pursue your career?
Misty Copeland was a huge one. Even before I got into dance professionally, one of my middle school teachers actually gifted me a book from her, Misty Copeland book, And he put a note in there saying, like, if you do go down the pathway of dance, just be careful as a woman in the industry, and just read this book as a reminder to stay grounded, and just know that you're not the only one that's going through it. Always talk it out, etc. So just hearing her story and the struggles she went through, I met her once. I think she came to a Houston high school, and I met her. She's just absolutely amazing. First of all, kudos to her and everything she's been through and still pushing to this day. But yeah, she was a big influence for me. My mom and my grandma, besides to just pushing me, was another huge influence. And then my mentors, Miss Harper, Erin Medina, they really did push me to be greater, and just keep going.
Now, aside from your mom, because I know that she is with you through and through with your journey now, even today, would you say that there are any mentors that you have now that's helping you in your career?
Um, I have a few. When I first moved out here, Michelle Sochild, amazing. I love her. She definitely took me on her wing and pushed me out there. Put me in front of faces that I didn't know about since I was so brand new to LA. Um, in Atlanta, I didn't really have a mentor. I would just go and take trainings from certain people. I didn't really get grabbed on from anybody. But yeah, it's just more so just going and training with people, not more so mentors now.
And your transition from Atlanta to LA, because I do want to touch on that. Uh, each new place, of course, brings new opportunities. Now, being in LA, do you think that that has brought more opportunities than being in Atlanta?
Oh, for sure. I feel like there's a difference in jobs from Atlanta to California, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Which you can always book big jobs no matter where you're at. I just feel like when I was staying in Atlanta, there was only a specific type of jobs they was looking for, or dancers that they was looking for. Rather than I wanted to do more bigger scale jobs. Like now I'm on a tour. I was in Atlanta for 5 years and I really wanted to do a tour. My first year out in California, I booked my first tour within less than a year actually. So that alone speaks volumes to me because that just shows that that move to LA was beneficial, and that's a
Yeah,
part of the journey. Yeah, that was a great decision on my family's part and my part.
absolutely. Well, before we close for the day, do you have any advice for any young dancers who may just be starting or who may be facing the challenges of being a young industry professional and the pressures of training at such an early age?
Yeah, I would just say stay youthful. Enjoy the time. Don't try to rush into being something that you're not just yet. You have years and years and years until you are at your peak of adulthood, womanhood, male, whatever the case may be. Separate school and dance and just keep the balance of your education and your dreams because one shouldn't overpower the other. I think both is achievable um, if you put in the work. Um, Listen to the mentors. I know I was young and they'll have the seminars and they'll be talking and I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, when are we getting back to dancing? Because they're just talking, yada, yada. Now I listen 100% because everything they said is absolutely true. How to go about rehearsals, how to feed your body, how to take care of your body. Your mental health is very important. Things like that. So just stay aware, stay connected, stay involved. Um,
Thank you so much for dropping those gems and thank you for taking the time to come talk on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Can you tell everybody where they can find you on social media platforms?
You can follow me on Instagram, well, any social media platforms at Chartaja. That'll be Chartaja1. And yeah,
Well, that concludes this episode of In 5678 the podcast. It's your boy Vibes by Bray. Make sure to follow me on all social media platforms at Vibes by Bray and stay updated on all of our latest episodes at N5678 Podcast, now streaming on all platforms. Here's your daily reminder to always dance like nobody's watching and love like it's never gonna hurt. Shout out to Katico Streetwear for Dancers, Rachel Y LLC, and Felicity Digital Lab. Until next time.